Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Since my channel is all about managing tigers and leopards, let me put forward the reasons given by famous hunter Jim Corbett to explain why these animals develop man-eating tendencies. According to famous hunter Jim Corbett, a man-eating tiger is a tiger that has been compelled through stress of circumstances beyond its control to adopt a diet different to it. Out of 10 cases, 9 cases may be because of wounds, and in the 10th case, old age. The wound that has caused a particular tiger to take to man eating might be the result of a carelessly fired shot, and having failed to follow it up and recover the wounded animal. Another reason for the tiger being wounded might be caused while trying to kill a porcupine. Human beings are not the natural prey of tigers, and it is only when tigers become unable to hunt, either because of being wounded or because of old age, they are forced to kill human beings in order to live. A tiger, when killing its natural prey, which it does either by stalking or lying in wait for it, depends for the success of its attack on its speed and to a lesser extent on the condition of teeth and claws. Therefore, when a tiger is suffering from one or more wounds, or when its teeth are missing or defective, and its claws worn down, and it is unable to catch the animals it is accustomed to eating, it is driven by necessity to killing human beings. Jim Corbett believed that the changeover from animal to human flesh in most cases was accidental. He has given an illustration of what he meant by accidental by citing the cases of the Mukteshwar man eating tigress. The Mukteshwar man eating tigress had been a comparatively young animal. In an encounter with a porcupine, she lost an eye and got some 50 quills, varying in length from 1 to 9 inches, embedded in the arm and under the pad of her right foreleg. Several of these quills, after striking a bone, had doubled back in the form of a U, the point, and the broken off end being quite close together. She tried to extract the quills with her teeth, and as a result, she developed a festering wound which was not only painful but rendered her unable to hunt her natural prey. She was lying in a thick patch of grass, starving and licking her wounds, when a woman selected this particular patch of grass to cut as fodder for her cattle. The tigress at first took no notice of the woman, but when the woman kept cutting the grass right up to the place where the tigress was lying, she got irritated. The tigress struck out at the woman just once, and in that one blow, the woman's skull crushed. She died instantly, for when she was found the next day, she was grasping her sickle with one hand and holding a tuft of grass which she was about to cut when struck with the other hand. Leaving the woman lying where she had fallen, the tigress limped off to a distance of over a mile and took refuge in a little hollow under a fallen tree. After 2 days, a man came to cut firewood off this fallen tree, and the tigress, who was lying on the far side, killed him. The man fell across the tree. He had removed his coat and shirt, and the tigress had clawed his back when killing him. It was possible that the smell of the blood trickling down his body as he hung across the hole of the tree which gave her the idea that he was something that she could satisfy her hunger with. Before leaving him and that place, she ate a small portion from his back. One day later, she killed her third victim, and it was done deliberately and without receiving any provocation. After that, she became an established man eater and killed 24 people before she was finally killed. A tiger, when with a fresh kill, or a wounded tiger, or a tigress with small cubs, will occasionally kill human beings who disturb them. But these tigers cannot be by any means called man eaters. Jim Corbett always gave a tiger the benefit of doubt before classing it as a man eater. It was a popular belief that all man eaters were old and mangy. Mange was an infectious skin disease which causes hair loss, which was thought to be the result of the presence of excess salt in human flesh. But Jim Corbett noticed that a diet of human flesh, instead of having a damaging effect on the coat of the man eaters, had quite the opposite effect. Because all the man eaters that he had seen had remarkably fine coats. Another popular belief was that the cubs of man eaters automatically become man eaters. This was a reasonable supposition, but it was not supported by actual facts. The reason why the cubs of man eaters do not themselves become man eaters was because human beings are not the natural prey of tigers and leopards. I have a perfect example to give supporting the above statement that human beings are not the natural prey of tigers or leopards or other wild animals like wolves or hyenas. A 2-year-old boy walked for nearly 20 hours barefoot through the jungle of Madhya Pradesh, a forest full of wild animals. It has been a recent incident that has been in the news. The boy survived through the night unharmed in the jungle among wild animals and was rescued by authorities the next morning. No doubt the toddler was dehydrated but alive and unharmed. Now, a tiger cub will eat whatever its mother provides, and Jim Corbett had even known of tiger cubs assisting their mothers to kill human beings. But he never knew of a single instance of a cub, after it had left the protection of its parent or after that parent had been killed, taking to killing of human beings. In the case of human beings being killed by any predatory animal, doubt was often expressed that the animal responsible for the kill was either a tiger or a leopard. It was a general rule, to which he had seen no exceptions, that tigers are responsible for all kills that take place in daylight, and leopards are responsible for all kills that take place in the dark. Both animals are semi nocturnal, forest dwellers, have much the same habits, employ similar methods of killing, and both are capable of carrying their human victim for long distances. It would be natural, therefore, to expect them to hunt at the same hours, and that they do not do so is due to the difference in courage of the two animals. When a tiger becomes a man eater, it loses all fear of human beings. And as human beings move about more freely in the day, than they do at night. It secures its victims during daylight hours, and there is no necessity for it to visit their habitations at night. A leopard, on the other hand, even after it has killed scores of human beings, never loses its fear of man. And as it is unwilling to face human beings in daylight, it secures its victim when they are moving about at night or by breaking into their houses at night. Owing to these characteristics of the two animals, that one loses its fear of human beings and kills in the daylight, while the other retains its fear and kills in the dark. That is why man eating tigers are easier to shoot than man eating leopards. The frequency with which a man eating tiger kills depends on number one, the supply of natural food in the area in which it is operating. Number two, the nature of the disability which has caused it to become a man eater. And number three, whether it is a male or a female with cubs. Jim Corbett did not agree with the fact that tigers in general should be referred to as cruel or bloodthirsty, while trying to depict as something evil or a villainous character. This provided a wrong opinion of the tigers in general. In all the time done in pursuit of man-eaters, he had not seen a case where a tiger had been deliberately cruel or bloodthirsty to the extent that it had killed without provocation more than it had needed to satisfy its hunger or the hunger of its cubs. A tiger's role in the environment is to help maintain a balance in nature. If on rare occasions, out of dire necessity, he kills a human being or kills their cattle because his natural food has been completely destroyed or wiped out by man, it will not be fair to put the blame on the whole species and brand them as cruel and bloodthirsty. Sportsmen are admittedly conservative. It has taken them years to form the opinions that they have formed, and opinions might differ from individual to individual. They might differ on both minor or even in major points. He also did not like to flatter himself, claiming that the opinions put forward by him would meet universal acceptance. However, he believed that there was one point all sportsmen would agree with him, and that was that a tiger was a large hearted gentleman with boundless courage, and people need to rally behind it and work for his survival. This brings out his deep respect and also concerns for the tiger and the environment in which it lived. Whereas leopards, unlike tigers, are to a certain extent scavengers and become man eaters by acquiring a taste for human flesh when unrestricted slaughter of game has deprived them of their natural food. The dwellers in the hilly areas of India, being basically Hindus, cremate their dead. The cremation usually takes place on the bank of a river or stream so that the ashes may be washed down into the Ganges and eventually into the sea. But if the villages are situated high up on the hills and the streams or rivers are many miles away down in the valleys, a funeral entails a considerable tax on the manpower of a small community when, in addition to the carrying party, labor had to be provided to collect and carry the fuel needed for the cremation. In normal times, these rites were carried out very effectively, but when disease in epidemic form swept through the hills and the inhabitants died faster than they could be disposed of, a very simple ritual which consisted of placing a live piece of coal in the mouth of the dead person was performed in the village, and the body was disposed by throwing down the hill and into the valley below. A leopard, where his natural food was scarce, if he found these bodies, would acquire a taste for human flesh. When the disease died down and conditions became like normal and still finding his food supply being cut off, the animal would very naturally take to killing human beings. This is about two man-eating leopards of Comau. Between them, they killed 525 human beings. At that time, there happened a severe outbreak of cholera, and one leopard followed that path. The other leopard followed a mysterious disease that Jim Corbett called war fever, which happened in the year 1918. Views have also been put forward by another famous and experienced hunter, Kenneth Anderson, about why tigers and leopards take to man eating. He was based in southern India and he pursued and killed man eaters in the jungles of South India and has given spine chilling adventure stories in his efforts to save human lives. After he killed the Hoshdurga Holalkir man eater, which was a tigress, he found no sign as to indicate why she turned into a man eater because she did not show any sign of any injury, nor she was an old animal. The reason, suggested by Kenneth Anderson, was that the tigress belonged to the man eating stock in the sense that the area or district in which the tigress belonged had a long history of man eaters behind it, and this trend has been passed from previous generations to it. Another reason cited by him was that even though there was an absence of any physical or functional disorder that might have caused a tiger or leopard to become man eaters, they take to man eating by deliberately rejecting its natural food, that is, the game available in the forest or even cattle from the village, and eventually choose to follow a perverse taste for human beings. So, guys, this is where I come to the end of my topic. Thank you for listening and bye.